Hey everybody, welcome back. So nice of you to stop and to have a look at this video. This is part 3 of 5 on how do we love ourselves. I'm going to talk about two things. The first thing is I want to review back on what was covered in section 2 about our core identity, and I would love to talk about boundaries. So first of all, let's go back to having a look at what is our core identity. So if you haven't looked at section 2, please have a look at that after you watch this video, and what I'm talking about right now will make more sense to you. So our core identity is our true self. It is who we are. It is what makes us do or do not do. It is the superpower we are born with. And our core identity is also where our dreams sit. So when people are, so that's what a core identity is. Why is knowing what is our core important? Why is it important to know about our core identity? Well, let me ask you a few questions. Perhaps you are feeling you ain't the person who you used to be, and you don't like the person you are now. Or perhaps you feel that there's more to life than what you are experiencing right now. Or perhaps there's a goal that you're struggling with. Or perhaps there's some dreams you are wanting to attain to. Or perhaps there's a lifestyle that you desire that you're not currently living. Or, what's another one? Let's see. Perhaps you're out of touch with yourself and out of touch with the environment you are in. So if any of these particular questions resonate with you, that will be the answer to why it is important that we understand what our core identity is. You see, a lot of times people are also going around just saying they don't feel like they're the person they used to be. People go around saying there's a piece of me missing. Some people are going around saying that they don't like the person that they are today. And these are generalisations. I'm not saying everybody, these are generalisations. So as a child, we were born with our core identity. And from the age of 0 to 7, we go through experiences that start to build up our beliefs. We create our beliefs and we create our self-identity around the experiences we have between the ages of 0 and 7. So often as a child, we're disciplined for doing something, right? And I've mentioned this in other videos as well. And as we are disciplined, there's something that happens to us that goes with our beliefs and goes with our self-identity. And when we're doing things in this stage of our life between the ages of 0 to 7, we're really looking for some sort of acknowledgement and validation. And so we stop doing things in case we upset the adult or upset the parent. We start to think twice before we do something in case we're being judged on it. So all of those experiences, once again, between the ages of 0 to 7, start to create our beliefs. They start to affect our true core identity, and we start to create our self-identity. And self-identity is totally different to the core. So once again, for these things to make more sense to you, I really recommend having a look at section 2, where I talk about core identity and our self-identity. Because you see, with our self-identity, we're really covering up the person that we truly are. So when we stopped loving ourselves, or we stopped knowing who we are and what we truly are, it's because of an experience which caused us pain. And the underlying level of pain is a particular dimension or a particular level of hurt. So Sharon Pearson says to be lovable is to have strong boundaries in place. And that's the next section I'm going to talk to you about right now, is boundaries. So being lovable yourself. I did mention in the first video that in order for us to love others, we need to be able to love ourselves first. And a lot of people will go around seeking validation and acknowledgement or love from others, where really it starts from yourself within. So Brené Brown says that daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. And this is quite an important thing to realize, or important principle to take note of. You see, a lot of people are seeking love and validation through others. Once again, these are generalizations, and there are a variety of examples on how people will seek love for themselves. So let's say a person who has fallen out of love with himself might find significance or connection through an addiction, drugs, or alcohol. Or perhaps they go around sleeping around with people because they've lost love for themselves. When we lose love for ourselves, we tend to lose self-respect. And I do have heard of stories, and I do know of examples where people have gone from one relationship into another, trying to find what it is that their core identity is desiring. And you may have even heard of this story where someone goes from one relationship, I'm going to use a woman in this example, where the woman goes, all men can't be trusted, all men are cheaters, all men are abusive. And it's because they take their beliefs and their self-identity into all of these different relationships, and all they're really wanting is acknowledgement, validation and love from other people, not realizing that love must start to come from within first. Or perhaps people are just needing love and needing that connection, that it doesn't even matter who the partner is, they just quickly jump into a relationship hoping to find that love and that significance or that connection. Or perhaps when you lose love for yourself, as I said earlier, and you're going through a level of pain or a dimension of hurt, you start to lose respect for yourself, and you start doing things that just don't align with you. And I wonder if this is making sense for you. So I know the topic and the subject is, how do we fall in love with ourselves? And I know I spend a lot of time talking about the what it is and why it's important, or why the situation is the way it is. And that's because in a lot of experiences and a lot of moments in time with businesses and people, we're so much tied up with the doing. We're doing without really understanding why, without really understanding the purpose. So on that, now I'll save that one for tomorrow, about looking at what is the outcome here, what is the purpose, what is the goal of needing to love ourselves first. But for today's topic, which is part 3 of 5, so stick around, there are 2 more sections to come over the next few days, is boundaries. Today I'm going to talk about boundaries. And what I'm going to share with you comes from the book Ultimate You. And Ultimate You was written by one of my great mentors, who's also the founder of the Coaching Institute of Melbourne, Sharon Pearson. And so to have boundaries is to be lovable, is being lovable ourselves. And to have healthy boundaries is to have this invisible force field right around you. So you know what you're comfortable with, and you know what you're not comfortable with. You know what is okay, you know what is not okay. So it means you attract people who have a strong sense of themselves. You know that, you know quite well that, I've lost my train of thought there. Let me just get that one back. It's like hell. It's like living in a nightmare when we're trying to be someone who we're not. So by having boundaries is actually saying you're loving yourself, and you're setting standards for yourself. You're not going to allow people to run you down. You're not going to allow people to disrespect you. You're not going to allow yourself to go into situations or experiences where you're going to come out feeling worse off. And as Brené Brown also says, to love ourselves and setting boundaries will come at the risk of disappointing others. So when we fall out of love and out of respect for ourselves, we tend to run around wanting to please other people. We tend to want to run around satisfying other people. And that's where a boundary could come up. And I've been in this before. I've gone into coaching sessions with clients on a Saturday, where Saturday should be a weekend for myself. But because I tend to want to really go and help others, I have a passion for helping others, I lower my boundaries and I say to this client or clients, hey, Saturday 11 o'clock is fine. What would you like to talk about? And so it's not me putting myself first in that particular situation. So by having a boundary, and I just had this 2 days ago when a client asked me, do I work on Saturdays? And I clearly said no. I was able to just say no, because there needs to be boundaries put in place. So one way for us to find more love and respect for ourselves is boundaries, and that's what I want to talk to you about today, and that's what I want to bring to you today. Have some boundaries. set some expectations, set some standards. So let's say a boundary for me right now in my moment in time of my life, what I'm going through right now, is health and fitness. And I know that there's a pizza night party coming up in a couple of weeks. So now it's for me being able to create boundaries and saying, okay, all pizzas, alcohol, what can I do in this situation where I know I'm going to still love myself, where I know I can go through that amazing, awesome night without feeling regret. So the boundary for me will be, I'll have those, those Crusket crackers with Philadelphia cheese and maybe some watercress and cucumber or avocado on top. So that could be my pizza for the night. Because the boundary for me is I'm valuing right now my health and my mindset and my vitality. And it's really important for me because I want to have longevity in life. I want to be pain-free from all the gout that I've experienced. So it's about setting boundaries. Another example that I've used for setting boundaries on myself, which I've been using for years and years now, is like if people come up to me and they say something that might be offensive, I am aware of my boundary and I'm not going to accept it. I'm not going to go, yeah, you're right. Oh, I hear what you're saying or I know what you mean, because it actually isn't serving me. So for some examples, people have said to me, oh, you're just so stuck up, you just think you're better than everybody. And I say to myself, or I even say to them, no, I don't. I'm just confident with who I am. So I have a boundary, and the boundary is I am confident with who I am, and I do not allow beyond this boundary of people's criticisms and people's judgment. So they say, oh, you're just stuck up, you think you're better than everybody else. I say, no, I'm not. I'm just confident with who I am, and I'm happy with who I am. I'm comfortable, confident, and happy with who I am. I've had other people say, oh, you're just so lucky you get to do what you get to do. And so that's them putting their map of their world onto me, and so I need to stop that boundary as well. And I say, hell no, I worked bloody hard to get to where I am right now. Luck had nothing to do with it. So it's me putting myself first before other people's opinions. I've even had people say to me, oh, it's because you don't have children that you're able to do what you're doing. And I say, matter of fact, I would love to have children. It's one thing that's missing in my life today is children. And another way I could turn that around is by saying, wow, are you saying that because you have children you are unable to do what you want to do? Are you saying that it's because of your children you're unable to hold your goals or your dreams? And a matter of fact, the true reality is I know so many people who do have a family who are quite successful in business and in their personal lives. So I really trust that the information I'm sharing with you all today about reminding you what your core identity is versus your self-identity, also being aware of your boundaries to set these boundaries. I can tell you that these principles and these ways of thinking will be able to provide you the results that were once unbelievable will now start to become believable. Having this sort of mindset and these sort of beliefs and this sort of being, by loving yourself, you'll start to do things you've always wanted to do that you held yourself back from. Once you start to learn to love yourself and give yourself respect, you'll start to realize that your dreams become more closer and more of a reality. You'll start to realize when you're using these sort of behaviors, these sort of patterns, that your environment, your relationships start to change. The people you start to attract into your life are the people who are ideal for you. The experiences you start to welcome into your lifestyle are the experiences you once upon a time thought will never come true. If you followed me enough throughout all my videos, you would know that I truly do live a life of extraordinary. From a child who was abused, who grew up in an alcoholic environment, to the man I am now, who has travelled all over the world for 25 years, who has become a leader in many businesses. I've reached amazing results and targets. I'm so goal driven, I'm so outcome driven now. It meets my core identity, and I am what I am and I do what I do because I am at my best when I'm helping others to grow. And I am at my best when I'm in situations where I can grow, where I can be stretched. And so to grow and to stretch is about me serving others, and through serving others, I'm getting connection. And these things are all beautiful things that I have discovered once I started to understand my core identity, who I am, being comfortable with I am. And a part of that journey also meant I had to be honest with myself and say, I am damn sick and tired of being the person I am, and what can I do to get out of this? A part of the journey I went on to become the person I am now, to be in the comfortable position I am now, is actually letting go of past trauma, people in my life that weren't serving my dreams, and being honest that, I had to take responsibility for the mistakes that I had also made. However, I look forward to bringing to you 2 more sections on how to fall in love with yourself. This is Devlin with part 3 of 5. Let's rock it out, and I look forward to having you back here. Please comment below what is something that you got from this video. I trust you got a lot of value from this video as well, and all the best.